You can retire completely debt-free with a multi-million-dollar portfolio and still silently lose hundreds of thousands of dollars to taxes without fully realizing it. Because retirement success isn't just about portfolio performance, it's about how you sequence your income once the paycheck stops. Think of your retirement income like three faucets. There's one for your 401k, one for Social Security, and one for your pension. The water's all yours, but the pressure from one affects the others. Open them in the wrong order, and instead of a steady stream, you flood your tax return. I've seen very financially savvy retirees still make this exact mistake. Let's say there's a couple earning about $30,000 from a pension and $60,000 from Social Security. They end up deciding to take an extra $40,000 from their IRA, and that one move quietly triggers nearly $70,000 of taxable income. How does that even happen? Well, because one decision, like pulling from the wrong account at the wrong time, can cause more of your Social Security to become taxable, push you into a higher tax bracket, and even increase your Medicare premiums 2 years from now. So that one decision doesn't just add more taxes, it compounds them year after year until it quietly rewrites your entire retirement math. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how that chain reaction starts. We'll go over the 3 hidden tax traps that make it worse as you age and the 4-step framework that you can use to reverse it. Stick with me until the end because once you understand how these hidden traps quietly build inside your tax return, you'll know how to design your income plan the same way that we do for our high net worth families every day. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brandon Clark. I'm a certified financial planner and certified private wealth advisor, and also the director of financial planning at the Clark Group Asset Management. And our mission is to help you maximize your retirement. As always, the information discussed in these videos are strictly educational and should not be taken as financial or tax advice. So let's break down exactly where these hidden traps start and ultimately how you can solve for them. Now, most retirees follow what feels like the natural order. They turn on their pension first, claim Social Security as soon as it's available, and then defer IRA withdrawals as long as possible. It feels conservative, and we've been told that this is a fine approach. But it's often the worst case scenario from a tax perspective, because that sequence quietly triggers 3 of the biggest hidden traps in retirement. The first is the Social Security tax torpedo. Secondly is Medicare IRMAA surcharges. And then the third is the RMD avalanche. You've spent decades building wealth, so don't let the tax code reverse compound it. Trap number 1, the Social Security tax torpedo. When your other income rises, the IRS starts taking more of your Social Security benefits. And here's what most retirees don't fully realize. The formula that the IRS uses hasn't been updated since 1983, not even for inflation. So let's break it down for 2025, where the IRS looks at something called combined income. Combined income equals your adjusted gross income, or AGI for short, plus any tax-exempt interest, so think muni bond interest as an example, plus half of your Social Security benefits. And based on that number, here's how much of your Social Security can be taxed. If you make below $25,000 and you're single, or $32,000 as a married couple, none of it is taxed. Between $25,000 and $34,000 as a single filer, or $32,000 and $44,000 as a joint filer, up to 50% is taxed. And if you make above $34,000 as a single filer or $44,000 jointly, up to 85% can be taxed. And because those thresholds are frozen in time, most retirees today, especially high net worth households, blow right past them. That means that nearly all of their Social Security ends up being taxable. But how much becomes taxable depends on how much other income they pull. And here's where it gets a little sneaky. If a married couple earns about $30,000 of AGI, let's say from a pension or other income, and receives $60,000 of Social Security, they're right in the middle of what's called the tax torpedo zone. That's the range where every extra dollar of income can make another 50 to 85 cents of Social Security taxable. So if they take, let's say, an extra $40,000 from their IRA, that withdrawal doesn't just add $40,000 to their tax bill, it also pushes about $30,000 more of their Social Security into that taxable range. So instead of $40,000 showing up on their tax return, they could see roughly $70,000 of new taxable income appear. And at a 24% bracket, that's around $17,000 in taxes from what looked like a simple $40,000 withdrawal. That's the Social Security tax torpedo, a built-in chain reaction inside the tax code that quietly inflates your taxable income as you age. Not ideal. Now, trap number 2 is around the IRMAA surcharges. This is an area that a lot of advisors miss when going through a retirement plan with a client. IRMAA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount, is how Medicare quietly raises premiums for higher earners. Great. Medicare looks back 2 years at your tax return, so your 2023 income determines your 2025 premiums. And for 2025, here's how the brackets work. There's a base tier, as you can see here, then tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and then ultimately tier 5. Cross that first threshold and your Part B and D premiums rise by about $2,100 a year for a couple at those 2025 rates. Higher tiers can add as much as $7,000 per year. And yes, Roth conversions, capital gains, and even tax-free muni bond interest, they all count towards those limits. But again, here's something that most retirees don't realize. If your income has dropped since the year Medicare is using, you don't have to wait 2 years for your premiums to come down. You can file the form SSA 44 with the Social Security Administration. It's called the Medicare Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount Life-Changing Event. It basically tells Social Security to recalculate your premiums based on your current income instead of the old, likely higher numbers from 2 years ago. Common qualifying events include retirement, a work reduction, divorce, or the death of a spouse. And for many retirees, filing that one form can save thousands of dollars a year in Medicare premiums. This is where planning gets pretty powerful because IRMAA isn't a flat tax, it's a cliff. And cross it by even just $1 and you jump into that next premium level. Now, trap number 3, the RMD avalanche. At age 73 or 75 in 2033, the IRS forces you to start withdrawals, also known as your required minimum distributions. If you have $3 million in pre-tax IRAs or 401ks, by your RMD age, that's about $120,000 the first year based on the IRS formula, which starts at roughly 3.8% and then rises every year after that. Those RMDs stack on top of your pension and Social Security, re-triggering both the tax torpedo and IRMAA. Think of it like a snowpack building on a mountain. Ignore it long enough, and eventually it all comes crashing down. That's the RMD avalanche that buries your tax return. That's the compounding tax loop that grows as you age. All right, now here's the good news. It's not all doom and gloom. With the right planning, you have a window of opportunity. It's known as your strategic income window, or what I like to call the post-retirement income valley. It's essentially the window of roughly 5 to 8 years after you stop working, but before your required minimum distributions and Social Security benefits begin. It's typically somewhere between the ages of 60 and 70. Your earned income from work is gone at this point, and your required income hasn't started yet, which creates a valley of low taxable income. Think of it like flying through a calm valley between 2 storms. One storm behind you, so your working income, and a bigger one ahead, RMDs and Social Security. That's your chance to reposition the aircraft. Lower altitude, maybe a lighter load before that next climb. And during this window, there are 4 powerful strategies that can redefine your lifetime tax picture. So first, Roth conversions. This is where you intentionally move dollars from your traditional IRA into a Roth. By converting, yes, you have to pay the tax now, but at rates like 12%, 22%, or even 24%. And instead of waiting until your 70s when those same dollars could be taxed at 32% or higher, you lock in those lower rates now. And the goal isn't to avoid taxes altogether, it's to choose when you pay them. And during your strategic income window, that choice is yours. Secondly is capital gains harvesting. We all know tax loss harvesting, but this is the reverse. If you hold appreciated stocks or ETFs in a taxable account, you can intentionally sell small amounts to reset your cost basis. In this low income valley, those gains may fall into the 0% or 15% capital gains bracket, which means that you can realize profits and still pay little or no tax depending on your total income. And that's the kind of quiet compounding that pays off decades later. The third component is around charitable planning. If you're already giving to causes that you care about, a donor advised fund can let you pre-fund multiple years of gifts into one high-income year, offsetting taxes from potentially a Roth conversion while front-loading your philanthropy. It's a very elegant way to align your tax plan with your charitable values, which can even continue after you pass away. Now, fourth is around forward-looking RMD planning. Because when you model your future required minimum distributions early, you can structure conversions and withdrawals to stay below that IRMAA threshold, keeping your Medicare premiums low and more predictable. Now, all four of these levers, Roth conversions, capital gain harvesting, charitable funding, and RMD mapping, they all work together inside your strategic income window to ultimately create long-term tax efficiency. And the earlier you start, the more control you have over what you can keep. Now, let's use a case study as an example. Susan is 61 and David is 63, and they retire with $3.8 million, $2.7 million in IRAs, $600,000 in a brokerage account, and a pension that begins at 65, paying $60,000 per year. They plan to delay Social Security until 70, and from ages 62 through 64, they live primarily off of their brokerage account, so $150,000 per year. But only about $40,000 is taxable because of their cost basis and the gains. They then decide to also convert $100,000 a year from a traditional IRA to a Roth, staying within the 24% bracket, which caps near $394,600 for married couples in 2025. At 65, their pension starts, so they scale conversions to stay below that $266,000 IRMAA threshold. And at 70, they finally claim Social Security, a combined $75,000, which is about 76% higher than claiming at 62. And by 73, their RMDs are 45% smaller, saving roughly $420,000 in lifetime taxes and surcharges. Point being, that's what it looks like when your income order works for you, not against you. Now, I can already hear some people in the comment section saying, well, I'd rather just collect Social Security early. And yes, there are times when that absolutely makes sense, especially if you need the income or have health concerns. But for families who don't and who expect a long, healthy retirement, delaying can be one of the most powerful levels in your entire financial plan. So it's not about waiting just for the sake of waiting. It's about creating a coordinated income strategy that minimizes taxes, reduces those future RMDs, and gives you more control over your retirement cash flow long term. Susan and David used their strategic income window to decide when to pay taxes, not if. Each conversion was taxed at 24%, filling up that bracket today to avoid 32 to 35% later on. And their future RMDs shrank. Their IRMAA risk dropped, and the Roth account now grows tax-free for life and for their kids. So that's not luck, that's design. And for those that have spent decades building wealth, the goal isn't just reducing taxes, it's maximizing control. So your strategic income window defines the tax rate that your wealth will live under for the rest of your life. So you want to take advantage of that. And if your retirement income exceeds $250,000 a year, here's how you can start thinking strategically to reduce your lifetime tax bill. Evaluate filling up the 24% bracket early, so again, avoid the 32 to 35 brackets later. Harvesting long-term gains in the 15% range, which resets the basis for yourself. Look into donor advised funds, which can offset six-figure conversion income while aligning with your charitable goals. This is advanced planning that a lot of big box advisors never do. I saw it, I came from that world. They just say, yes, you're all set, you're comfortable for retirement, without digging into the details. And it's what differentiates reactive portfolios from proactive strategies. So the 4-step framework. So here's how you can build your plan using the 4-step framework that we incorporate with clients. Step 1, identify your strategic income window. From retirement to your first guaranteed income source, that's your opportunity zone. Now, step 2, you want to coordinate your start dates. Potentially delay Social Security to 68 to 70 if cash flow allows for it. Time your pension start date around your conversion plan. Step 3, fill your bracket intentionally. You can use in-depth softwares like Right Capital or Holistiplan with an advisor to model conversions and stay just below your chosen IRMAA tier. And step 4, the one that's often overlooked, monitor the 2-year IRMAA look back. Plan today for premiums that 2 years from now could impact you. And sometimes a short-term surcharge buys long-term tax freedom. And when these steps align, your tax plan becomes your income plan. And that's how you turn complexity into clarity. Here's one more overlooked risk that I'll throw your way. When one spouse passes, everything changes not just emotionally, but mathematically. Think of retirement like a flight crew on a plane. You start as two pilots, sharing the controls, balancing the load. But one day, that flight becomes a solo mission. Same altitude, same aircraft, but suddenly half the cockpit. That's the widow's tax. The same income, or roughly the same income, but filed now as a single filer in tighter brackets. That often triggers higher taxes for the surviving spouse. And this is another reason why the strategic income window is critical. You're not just reducing taxes for both of you, you're protecting the one who will eventually fly solo. So for families with over $1 million saved, retirement planning becomes less about can you retire and becomes more about how you efficiently draw from what you've built. You can own your income or you can rent it from the IRS. Owning it means designing your withdrawal order on purpose, not by what we've been told or just habits. And at the Clark Group Asset Management, we guide families through what we call our profit process. It's a fiduciary framework built on 3 pillars. The first pillar is to reduce taxes long term. Pillar 2 is to optimize estate and legacy planning to prevent generational wealth loss. And pillar 3 is to maximize returns aligned with your true risk tolerance and goals. What we do is we stress test and do a deep portfolio analysis. So if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, this is the ideal time to map your strategic income window and ultimately integrate it into your broader tax and estate plan. You can schedule a brief introductory call using the link below, and we'll show you exactly how to coordinate your 401k, pension, and Social Security for maximum efficiency and long-term control. Again, I'm Brandon Clark. Thanks for watching. And if you found this video helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe to see more content like this in the future.